or focus on one is better?
Can you sell and inspire at the same time?
I think you're talking about combining the two.
Okay, so much so for you would not be able to sell without inspiring them. In fact, when it comes to closing, you are inspiring your audience to take a new action. So you will not be very effective at selling from stage if you're not inspiring others, right? So a little bit of both, a little bit of both. And when you're presenting, depends on the time that you get, less is more. Less is more. So if you've got an 8-minute, 10-minute time frame, right? So make sure you don't try to cram too much in. If you only got like 10 minutes, just focus on one point. If you've got like 30 minutes, maybe 2-3 points. Don't try to jam like 30 points or 10 points in like a 30-minute time frame. Less is more, right? It's not just say, hey, you say this, you say this, you say this, and then the audience gets overwhelmed.
Yes.
Guess what? When they're overwhelmed, they don't take action, they are confused, and they tune out.
Yep.
So just give them enough, but not too much. The reason you want to give them too much, again, is focusing on what? Yourself. Because you want to sound intelligent, you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, you want to sound like you've done your homework, so let me overwhelm you. A perfect example, think back the professor you had when you were in college. He doesn't give a fuck, right?
He was just spouting out numbers.
Just overwhelm you. He doesn't care if you understand, he doesn't care, he just wants to get through all that stuff.
Yeah.
Go through all that chapter because that's what he's supposed to do. But that's not a good teacher. A good teacher would be like, hey, slow down. I want to make sure that you get what I'm talking about. That's the difference, right? Remember that college professor? Yeah, that's a perfect example. Try to cram too much in one session and in one speech.
So Harvey was asking, what's the difference between selling one-to-one versus selling one-to-many or selling on stage? I think that's a very advanced topic to go into.
It's such an advanced. I'll give you a short answer. Okay, it's first of all, it's a completely different skill. Selling one-on-one, you're doing only maybe you're doing 20% of the talking. Your prospect on the phone or one-on-one is doing 80%. You're asking questions to lead them to a sale. On stage, you don't have that luxury because you cannot get feedback from people one-on-one. Thank you. From one-on-one like this, you just can't. So, completely different skill set. It's like you ask me about riding a bike versus running a marathon. Like they're like both kind of get you somewhere, but they're two completely different skill sets. Same thing with copywriting. Copywriting, closing, selling from stage, totally different skill sets. All communication, but they're all very, very different. Very different. Okay, public speaking secret number 5.
Get out of the black box.
So let me demonstrate. Okay. You see most speakers you watch, they kind of speak like this. Have you ever seen that before? They speak like this. Okay. A lot like this.
I know this.
Right?
Yes, Seafood.
You watch them for 30 minutes, they're like this. I want you to visualize when you're speaking, there's this black box, okay? About this black box in front of you. That's kind of the same height, same width of your body. Okay, there's a black box in front of you. So imagine there's this big black box in front of me right now. Now, if my hand is moving like this, can you see me? If there's a big black box in front of me, can you see me? If my hand's just like this, right? You cannot see me. Now, if the black box is this wide, if my hand is here, can you see me? Yes or no? Yes. Right? Now, if the black box is here, if I step away from here, can you see me? Yes or no? That's right.
Yes.
So in order not to be boring on stage, you need to visualize this big fucking black box in front of you. And you need to get out of the box constantly. Okay? So this is good. This is good because it's out of the box. Move is good. Then now the black box after a while will kind of follow you, right? And you're gonna move out of the way again. It will kind of follow you again after a while, right? And then you move out of the way, and then it kind of follows you. So you gotta use the space, use your body to get out of the black box. This is so key. This is what is gonna make you such a dynamic speaker versus this. Can you imagine I fucking 1 hour of this? I'm falling asleep. Can't do that. Right?
Constantly moving out of the box. Okay.
Yeah, very, very
Crucial
key.
info.
Very, very key. So move out of that black box all the time.
Chantel says, I remember you talking about this in the video. I was hoping you'd go into this.
Yeah, so again, so black box, that's why you want to use the stage. So imagine this is the stage, right? Let's say the stage is maybe, say just what you see on the screen this wide, right? So if I'm presenting, usually in the center, this is like the camera, right? DOD, right? This is I'm presenting. This is my power center.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I speak most of the time. But from time to time, I'll walk back and forth, right?
But not too much, though.
Not
right?
too much.
We see people pacing all the time, right? Up and
That's
down.
just too much. Hey, let me teach you, right? You want to use the stage? That's way too much.
Right.
It's a very slow thing. So basically, you present a little bit here, right? You're using your body language. You're doing your thing, and then you make your point, right here. And then you talk and you share, right? And then you go back. You can go back to here, and go back to here, right? So use the stage. Now, another thing that you could do if you're a little bit more courageous, you have the stage. I like to walk towards the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do this a lot, especially if not too huge a crowd, a couple hundred people. I like to get like right into like in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, let's say if Desmond is here,
yes,
to borrow for a second. So let's say Desmond is
okay,
here, right? I say yeah, thank you. So he's in the audience. So I'm speaking, I'm presenting, right? So instead of me just being here all the time, I'll walk to the stage, I'll talk like this, right? Now it depends on how comfortable you are. Sometimes I like to do this. I just talk, right? I'll say, hey, does that make sense? So from there, like I like to do this because then he would turn. So then he needs to make kind of the effort to hear and follow my where I'm standing, right? To pay attention. And then if you are actually speaking behind him, you feel like, am I missing out? Like what is going on? So they pay more attention. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the key. So walk towards the audience. It takes a little bit more practice because now you are interacting with people, but I like to do that a lot.
This is gold.
I like to do that a lot.
So some academic, Eric Chung asked, some academic speeches, projects require you to be behind a podium. I know you got point number 3 here. Do I make the best of it or should I push it back?
I never, ever, ever, ever fucking use the podium. Ever. Ever. Okay? And I know that people sometimes, corporate, academic, all that. I had multiple times where they had this. Mm-hmm. First of all, I just talked to the sound guy. I don't care, move this out.
Steve will ask me to go tell them to get off, take that podium off.
Yeah, all the time.
Same with the microphone.
Yeah, I said, give me one of these. I don't like handheld because it restricts my movement.
Yes.
I like to use one of those, lapel or what's it called?
These are just the headsets. Like
headset. Some kind of headset.
Or the lavalier, yeah.
Lavalier, like I need my hands, man. Right? I need to make my point. Because this already, I'm half body, I'm in a black box. Mm-hmm. Imagine I'm holding this, so I'm going to leave like here versus I have this I can use, right? I could make a point, I could show different things, right? So this is much more interesting. So I like this, right? So podium, I get rid of it. I just don't use it. I tell people I don't use it. Academic, you will be shocked. Don't follow other people's rules. You just tell them, I don't speak that way. And they'll say, what do you mean you don't speak that way? Here's a podium, here's a microphone. I said, I don't speak that way.
See, I think the reason people use podiums is because they have a long speech and they're reading from the paper and they have to have it there. That's what the podium's for. It's just to read. Yes.
Imagine, okay, I'm boring. See, I'm boring all kinds of stuff on the fly, right? So imagine this is the podium. Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, imagine this is the podium. Okay? You see how when you have a podium in front of you, immediately what does it do? It creates a barrier between you and the audience. Mm. Before I do anything, I already put a barrier between you and me. How do I connect with you when it's just a fucking thing in front? Like, it's just, it's the invisible black box is not enough. Let me give you actually fucking half a black box. I only see this part of your body. Or even worse, like there's some podium that's very high.
Yes.
You've got the freaking mic sticking out.
Yes.
Now now you only see half your face and half your body.
And many times you get up there and it like you have to makes all the noise. It's got to come down and.
You know, how do you connect? And worse, a lot of speakers, you don't know it. Tell them this is true. When you got the podium, guess what people do? Today,
look at what I'm doing right now.
You know, they like to address, like you see this on video, on speech. They hold this, right?
Yes.
And they're like, now they get fucking nervous. They're like this, right? You have the mic.
I've seen that so much.
Or they get lazy. Now they're like this. How many seen that before? This is the fucking mic, like they're like this after a while, right?
Podium chicken.
Horrible. So, and immediately puts barrier, and there's also, you're hiding something. Mm-hmm. Versus, you know what? Here I am. Here I am. Open, transparent, top to bottom. Oh, okay. See, huge. You want power when you speak, you do that right from the first few seconds. Put that away. Just get that away. Boom, and you take the power center. And you start, before you even say a single word, you've already commanded the stage. You've owned the stage before you say a single word, just by your presence. It takes guts. It takes guts. Yes?
I've seen you, Sifu, where we've been to places where we didn't get enough time to get to the stage people. You walk up on stage and you're literally like, okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Do I have your permission? And then everyone was like, respect right after that. It's like, wow.
I don't want this thing, man. Yeah. I have had incidents where they actually don't have a lapel mic.
Yes.
So guess what? Here's the podium. We push it away. I take the handheld. Not ideal, but I'm like, fuck that. Better than nothing. I would take the handheld, get the core, right? Get the core, and then I would speak this way. But then even when I'm speaking, I'm changing hands. I want to be out of the black box constantly, right? So I'll be talking like this, talking like this, talking like this, right? Not ideal because but it has happened. And
you're not leaning into the mic. Some people, even though they're holding it, they tend to they crouch down, right?
You want to be like that, right? But ideally, no mic. Yeah, no podium. You got it?
This is mind-blowing, right?
You got it? Yes?
Never even guess this.
No podium. That's right.
That's why TED has no podium. That's right.
No podium, man. This is not university. That doesn't matter. You make up the rule. Just tell them this is how I speak, right?
You can buy mic holders that wear on your neck. Some people don't like how it looks, but your hands are free.
Yeah.
You need it. Yep.
Yeah, you can one of those.
Patrick is a magician. He does a lot of magic tricks.
You can do this. You can have a lapel, something. But I need and also I use my hand to illustrate certain points, to teach. So this is very important to me. This is like a tool that I would think about things. So I use my hands a lot. Speak with my hands. Okay, so it doesn't look like a lot, but this is all body language. This is very subliminal kind of communication skill, right?
I think if people now have these secrets to it, it's going to give them more confidence when they speak.
Yeah, the minute you're like, okay, I'm gonna. So what you're saying is, I don't need this shit. This is what you're saying. Like, I don't need this shit, all this. Just me. Like that. That's what you just did. It communicates so much confidence. Just that little things. But okay. Oh, by the way, sometimes the podium's even on the side. It's even worse. It's not even in the center.
Yeah.
Now the center is all empty, and you're like all the way in fucking here, right? Imagine you're all the way here, right? The audience don't even see you, and you're like, just bad. It's bad.